More shots trying to forget you. No luck.
The chaos ball! Claire jumps in with the grand slam! Do something right now. Sonic Wave is there. It's getting lower and lower. Oh! They've stolen it! Mammoth have got the Baron!
Hopping back into things. I'm going to keep using that one. You guys are going to keep hating for it. It is going to be Kanga taking on Mammoth. Tusks up. Can they do it again? Can they keep the performances looking crisp, looking good, or are Kanga going to hit back, going to make this one work for a second W on the board? Because currently they are in last place, tied with Gravitas. And that is not where you want to be this early in the split, Skinny.
You don't, absolutely not. And myself and Kitty were discussing like different angles that maybe Kanga will want to try and approach this with. Initially, my approach yesterday was put Chungi on like some global champion, right? Give him a TF, give him a Galio. If lane's not looking too hot, you just gank elsewhere. But then when he went for those ganks, that didn't look too hot too. So I don't know if it's a case of suffering from low morale or just, yeah, like when these team fight setups are happening, the communication's a little bit off. But it feels like there's a lot of pressure right now on Only, who's admitted himself that he is the shot caller. I'm sure there's different angles that they can look to try and approach this with. One angle we were discussing is just put Only on the Carthus and give him the carry tools and says, you know what, forget about my team. The Requiem comes down. I want you, everybody. GG, right? Or maybe just put him on something like a Nidalee. He's very good at Nidalee. And pair that with something like a Renekton, like a very bread and butter textbook combination. And that could be played in mid, probably going to be played in top. And it just gives you like very easy combos to work around. Small little victories, those could add up. And then maybe they can... you know, give themselves and give the fans some hope, some pride, some happiness.
Little bit of live theory crafting going on. Now let's continue that trend. Kitty, tell me, Lionel so far down in that bot lane hasn't been having a huge amount of success. So do you have any pointers for him? Do you like what he's doing, and what do you think he needs to lean on to get some wins?
I think Lionel and Limas have not figured something that works for them yet, but something that is working is Only being the main carry and the person who gets all the resources. Because I've done some digging, Only actually has the highest KP, averaging 88% in the entire LCO. Ooh. So I'm wondering, is jungle impact the way to go for this current meta?
Well, it's been having a lot of impact, right? But it hasn't been enough to get those wins on the board. Like, I'm looking for a couple of lackluster performances in the bot lane, which I feel like is that weak point at the moment for Kanga. But even up top, like Lived, we know that he is a very experienced, very capable player, but that hasn't been translating into wins either. I feel like he's been getting bullied a lot. He's been getting bullied a lot in a lot of these games. It seems like teams are identifying that if we can maybe, you know, take Lived out of the picture, then that top jungle matchup isn't looking as strong for Kanga, and it makes it that much easier. So I guess we'll see if that is the case. But look, having a chat about Only, you mentioned it before, man's got some pretty good stats here, Skimmy, in the jungle.
Yeah, the KP is the one that really stands out for me, right? The fact that himself and Balkan are really leading the line for the entire league as well, looking to try and be the most impactful on the map. You see it from a lot of Oni's play as well when he's been playing the likes of Viego and Xin. When he goes, you notice the rest of the team are there to back him up. There have been multiple times. There's a clear memory that stings to mind for they got that victory against Direwolves. He looks to be in a compromised position. Literally just Viego ults away, gets the unstoppable frame clip, baits out all the CC misposition from Direwolves. They turn it around, and ultimately they then come back to win that game. So there's so many different ways you can approach it. I'm sure the coaches can discuss what works for them. You could give the band-aid solution, right, and say, switch up the identity, put Only on carries, let's hope for the best. Or, much like they've confessed to us, we're working on fundamentals, we're developing, so they might just stick to conventional comps and say, it's going to get better, just believe in us.
Now look, before we do start talking Mammoth, I just want to point out, I noticed we all color coordinated with our chairs today.
Oh, true. Well, I was just doing this to try and annoy production because, you know, these are the kind of things that really ruin green screens, right? There's like patterns which you can't see because the camera's not high quality enough, but that's okay.
It's beautiful. Mate, it looks perfect, Tell you what else looks perfect. Mammoth's lineup on paper, they're rookies, they're superstars, but the conversion of that, it's starting to happen, you know? They're starting to break out of the shell. They're making things happen. They're making people second guess. Hang on, is this the Mammoth that we expected to be in the LCO? And Kitty, it's all coming through that mid lane. It's all coming through a bit of voice and top lane. Like, wherever you look, there has just been so much success, all things considered.
Yeah, so we saw Mammoth pick the Diana and Yasuo combo in last night's game. In my opinion, I actually think Diana and Yasuo is the trap pick for this split. We've seen it on Di, we've seen it on Mammoth. They all got a big fat loss with that record, but I trust in the process. Fury is still going to be the main player to look out for, being the main shot caller and carry for the team, like Voice said. So I'm excited to see what Ryu Fury has in store for us.
Yeah, he has been playing out of his mind. A little bit of limit testing here and there. Yesterday, of course, didn't get too much going with that Yas, as you mentioned. I was pumped. I was thinking, you know, he's done some crazy stuff with the trend. Are we going to see like this huge pocket pick coming through? But unfortunately for him, it didn't work out because Hyosei was just breaking ankles. So that was really hard for him to deal with. That was a rough mid lane matchup.
I'm just really hoping that they've recovered from those broken ankles, right? You know, given the fact that you need to be playing with these hands. So much like me, I have none, so they're off the screen. And that's why I only play ARAM. So fully qualified, obviously, to talk about these games and talk about some of the best players in the region. But that's why we've got Kitty here, because then she can give you the real hot takes.
Very true. Now we'll see if she can work on a couple of those hot takes. But coming up right now, it's time for me to have a chat with two of my favorite players in the LCO. We got Lived, we got Voice. We're going to have a fun time here in the pre-match. How you boys doing? Quickly, give me a hey.
Not bad, not bad, not bad. How about you? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. I thought you were talking to Voice, but then Voice didn't say anything.
Oh, no.
So anyway,
No.
Great start to the interview, boys. Lived, you said hi first, so I'm going to be talking to you. All right, quickly, you know, a little bit of BM to start things off. How big is this top gap going to be today?
It's going to be ginormous. It's going to be between the Colossal Titan and the goddamn Attack Titan. I'm the Colossal Titan. They're the Attack Titan. Like, I'm just ginormous compared to them. It's going to be absolute top gap this game.
Oh, ridiculous. I hope Tron's ready for that because he's had some good ones, but today it's going to be his biggest L ever. Now, I've always wanted to know how long it takes you to get the perfect hair because, like, I don't know the secret. What is it?
Well, my hair's naturally white, so I don't do anything to my hair. It's just
Really?
It's just white normally. Yes, it's naturally white. That's why I have like a white mustache as well. Yeah.
I'm even thinking that you actually like did a little bit of dye-in to try to like make it back. That's
No,
crazy.
no.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's dope. That's dope. Anyway, good luck with that top lane. I hope that ginormous gap happens. Now, Voice, tell me your thoughts on Zeri so far. I heard that you've been playing a lot of her in solo queue.
Yeah, I'm playing her a little bit. I think she's alright. I think teams should leave her open though. I think she's not too broken. I think you should leave her open every game. Unless we're on red side, then probably won't be left open, but I think you should leave it open personally.
Yeah, Liv, take
For funny
notes.
reason.
Now, you were playing alongside the best mullet in the LCO. Do you feel blessed?
No. Honestly, this guy griefs me every single game. I can't believe it. I just cry, and after, like I look at him, and I look at his amazing, sexy face. I'm like, you know what? It's all right. We'll play it next time.
Betraying
It's
the mullet.
just a cycle,
those
you know.
caddies.
Every game, it's just like he griefs
Yeah.
me in game. I look at him out of game. I'm like, next time will be better.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, something we've been doing, I don't know if you were watching earlier, we're giving compliments to each other because, of course, Valentine's Day is coming up on Monday and we're trying to warm up, getting those, pick-up lines and beautiful compliments going that we all deserve. So, Liv, give Voice a compliment, Voice, then you give one back to Liv.
Okay, hold on. Turn your head to the side for me real quick. That's a nice ponytail you got there, bro. I like that.
Thank
That's
you.
a nice one.
I like your eyes. They're very, very nice and simple. They're just such a nice color. I just look into them. I could get lost all night.
Thank you.
Beautiful. And on that note, good luck, have fun, gentlemen, and enjoy that top cap, Liv.
Awesome. Thanks. See ya.
Thanks, Mac.
Beautiful, beautiful. Always good to chat with the boys. That was goated. I love that. That was good. That's Liv's natural hair color. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was on the same as you. I actually thought he was dyeing it just to be a bit of a style icon. Perhaps he'd watched a bit too much anime and said, that's me. I'm a character. It's real life.
He's just the anime protagonist in his own world.
Yeah.
He didn't actually tell me the secret to what he actually does to keep it looking so good. unless it's just pure genetics, which would be nuts. Now, speaking of genetics, we've got a couple of gifted genetic gentlemen in the server, and we need to figure out which way we're going with this one in terms of predictions. So let's bring those up. Let's see how this one's going to go from our side of things. Okay, everyone's believing in that Kanga top gap. Everyone's going for it, except for Mac, of course. I'm tusks up. I'm backing the boys, probably for the rest of the split, just because I want to see what this team is truly capable of.
You were right last time as well. You went for it when they had pen in it, right? You're the one that went for it, and then everyone was just like, okay, Max got the most base takes in the entire league. Look, I'm just going to continue to go for Kanga because I just want to see, you know, that one beacon of hope, that one spark of light where you see them walking away and they're happy, they're content, they're smiling. Because right now it feels like a bit of a sad story where, you know, games aren't going their way. And, you know, by that 5th or 6th death, they just look so dejected. You'd want to be anywhere else rather than on screen, on a camera.
Very true. Now, Kitty, tell me why Kanga's going to take the cake.
So Livs compared himself to the Colossal Titan going up against the Attack Titan. This is an AOT reference. And from experience and from what I've seen, the Colossal Titan is way more OP than the Attack Titan. So Liv will be taking the cake for this game. Boing, boing.
Very good
Boing,
analogy.
boing.
A couple of boings. Now, we got some hot takes. I think, Kitty, you had one before we throw these up on screen, right? You were telling me in the break something sneaky.
So my hot take for the day is that Bard and Pike players are inflated.
Ooh. I think there's someone that's not here today that's going to absolutely just destroy you for that take. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to wait till he's back on the show and we'll see how that goes. Although he did just say true in Discord. So maybe we're wrong. Maybe you are completely right, Kitty. Now, of course, we've got a little picture to have a look at. Now let's bring this one up from the fans, our favourite segment, and Dave Oello, our favourite submitter. He has been around the bush and he's coming in clutch with the Photoshop again, Skimmy. What's going on here?
Well, absolutely, you are the Big Mac, literally the Big Mac, both a delicious food, but also a big dog in the casting world. That's me just, I've regressed back to puberty because I get far too excited when I'm casting. And then, Kitty, obviously the character, the play style, the support, there's levels to this.
Can I say that Big Mac sits perfectly well on my head? It looks very, very real with the lighting and everything. Kitty, how you feeling being a Yumi?
You know, maybe potential Yumi cosplay for the future, but not sure quite yet.
Okay, we'll see. Halloween is just around the corner, right? Only like 7 months away or something like that. Now, we do,
Halloween,
of course, we last year we dressed up for Halloween as I was BMO. I don't know if you remember. I could have been UB. I don't know. People, it was open to interpretation, but I went with BMO. Now, of course, this is going to be a big battle in Champ Select for these teams to get what they want. We've seen Kanga get some really, really nice drafts, but it still doesn't convert into wins. And we know that Mammoth just have so many of these pocket picks, so what are we going to expect here, Skimmy?
It's a good question. I'd imagine something unique once again in the mid lane. I'm not sure if they're going to be running it back for Kanga, for Chungy.
Okay.
I feel like the big advantage point is Refury going to want to make sure that he gets a cannon pick so he can continue to be that rock in the mid. Rock in the top.
Yeah, rock in the top, rock in the mid, Max rocking out of here because Champ Select's ready!
And we're back in. All right, Champ Select, here we go. Let's get excited for this one, Kitty, because, yeah, as you say, right now, it seems weird to say, but would you even argue that Mammoth are the favorites coming into this match?
I would say no. They both have the same amount of chance winning this game, and something I just remembered is that both Chungy and Refury are known Yasuo players, so I will be very interested in that department. But obviously, the Caitlyn is banned, Corki, best in slot mid, gone. Yumi is also gone. And we've seen a lot of Gwen today. Why is that, Skimmy?
Yeah, I'm not sure if players have heeded the call. They really have tuned into those rehearsals and said, all right, guys, it's time. It's time to unleash the Gwen. We're sick of these 80 carry players still in the limelight. It's my time to shine. So Gwen's going to be in the mix of things, which is awesome. Also a Graves. Only a handful of Graves games so far, 2 in the top lane. So he's back.
Yeah, and Graves can be flexed into top as well. We've seen that BT build on the Graves. So that, we don't know where it's going just quite yet. It's another Aphelios Jinx matchup with Kanga locking in the Lulu. I'd say Lulu is probably the best support to go with these hyper carries. So I'm expecting Rocco to either match with an Enchanter, which is Zillion being locked in. Zillion, we've known him for his Zillion, the
Yes.
Moonstone Zillion with Guardian.
Yes.
I'm quite excited to see what he has in store for us. But with that being said, Jace gets banned, and yeah, we're gonna probably be banning top lane champions to stop. So I'm assuming Kanga assumes that is a Graves jungle.
Yeah, it's interesting to see where the bans will go. As you say, Jace has already been removed. The Zillion's going to be exciting. It's almost like you're getting excited before the Jinx passive kicks in, so that's always going to be a hot talking point. It's actually Kanga that ban away the Veigar. Now, bear in mind, Chungi has played this, but Fury has a proficient record of playing the Veigar. If anybody was to play it, we thought it might have been him.
Yeah, so Veigar isn't actually very strong in the meta right now, but it is a comfort towards Fury, so they are getting rid of that for the champ select. They're gonna just be banning mid laners now. I'm gonna be very surprised if I don't see a Yasuo or maybe a Diana being picked from both sides. And with the Malphite gone, so Mammoth kind of predicted that Chungi might play Yasuo.
Yeah, they're definitely they're scared of it, aren't they? And they're also obviously banning away a lot of these top lane champions. I guess they're still not convinced as to where this Gwen can go. Sure, it could be played in top lane. Look, it can be played in jungle as well.
Yeah, and something I just picked up is that Gwen can be flexed to jungle. She is quite strong in both top and jungle right now. So we have Kassadin being banned. That confirms that maybe Chungi is going to be playing an AP mid laner against Fury. He's scared of that Kassa win.
Yeah, he might certainly be the case. Oh, the Hecarim is coming out. It's a bit of a blast to the past. A champion that only's not played in a hot minute. I wonder if we're going to be seeing a very early roaming Lulu to make sure that this Hecarim can snowball out of control.
In my opinion, I think Lulu is way stronger than Zillion in the early game, so I will not be surprised seeing the Lulu follow the Hecarim around the map. And Chungi picked Kog'Maw mid lane. That's a Kog'Maw mid lane. I've seen Chungi do it before in solo queue. It does quite a lot of damage, especially his W and his ulti. So I am going to be looking out for his Kog'Maw.
What are these guys that are in their cereal today? They've woken up and said, you know what, Kog'Maw is the play. We're going to have a tank Kog'Maw in the bot lane. We're going to get an AP Kog in the mid lane, and this is going to be our claim to fame. Now, you may notice that Voice's pick is blank. It's a bug. Sometimes that happens.
Oh.
Technology, not always in our favor, but I do have confirmation from production that that's actually a Lilia. So, very aggressive drafts and very unique drafts, you'd have to say here, Kitty.
Yeah, with the Lilia coming in, we do see that Mammoth lacks frontline and tanky. They lack tanky frontline. So I'm expecting the Graves to be the split pusher of the game, which is going top lane. And with Fury on the Zed, it is a very good matchup for the Zed into the Kog'Maw, because the Kog'Maw is going to be very squishy. He's going to be full AP, and we're probably going to see double Jinxes on Mammoth.
Yep, yep, twice as nice. You've got Jinx and you've got Powder, which is really cool. I love Arcane, such a good show. Let's talk about this Kanga composition, because obviously that's the biggest talking point right now. Yes, there is a Zed, but there is an AP Cog. So talk me through this AP Cog. If you've seen it so much, why is Chungi so proficient at it?
I don't think Chungi... I don't think Kog'Maw is a very good pick in the mid lane, but Chungi just likes playing it. And he's maybe, you know, pulling out something that makes him comfortable, which is the Kog'Maw mid lane. But looking at Kanga's comp, they have strong laners with the Gwen in the top and the Aphelios. Aphelios is quite strong in the early game. Don't underestimate his early game, with only on a front line for those engage. So other than Zillion for the peel, Voice is going to have a hard time during these teamfights. Kog'Maw is actually considered long-range DPS, even on with an AP build. So yeah, this is going to just be Chungi trying to poke with his spells, while Mayfan just trying to go for those ulti engages.
Yeah, it looks to me as if summoner checks is going to be so crucial, right? Making sure that flashes are up, or perhaps they're down. So you make sure that that flash lullaby is going to guarantee the full wombo combo connects for a clean ace. I'm definitely excited to see how Refury plays this Zed as well. I imagine once level 6 is there, the Death Mark is going to pack a punch, which will make Chungy's life a bit of a living hell. Here we go, loading into game number 2 of the day. Kanga searching for that second win of the split, taking on a Mammoth that have already, so early on into the split, defied expectations. As we load into this one, once again, let's welcome, Coach Drac from the side of Kanga back onto the show and talk a few things about what we've seen so far. I have to ask Drac, a bit of a rough loss for you boys last night. So how's the team feeling and how have you approached today's game?
Losses in general are never easy, especially when you don't feel like you're playing your best or delivering what you've been delivering in practice. So today our focus is on just letting them relax and shake off some of the stress because I feel like it's affecting them and more confident attempting the plays they see. The wins will come. We just need to actually play our game.
For sure. And I suppose we can see it reflected in some of the picks that have been locked in here. Was that the clear message? Let's play comfort, stop overthinking it, and just enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy the game a little bit, have a little bit of fun today, and hopefully that brings home the win. But if not, hopefully it just lets them show some of what they've got because they play a lot better.
They certainly do, absolutely. Well, I appreciate your time, and I wish the boys the best luck in this game. We'll crack on.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's talk about the lane matchups. We have a Gwen into a Graves. Graves tend to just do worse into AP matchups because obviously his passive is armor. So Tromdapom might have a hard time in the top lane. And something else I picked up on is 2 supports building Relic Shield and not Spell Thieves when they both have quite a volatile lane where one enchanter could be more aggressive than the other. But the only explanation I can think of is that they don't want to be pushed up for those tower autos and they just want to have a very safe early game.
Just want to sit back, relax, maybe have a few bites for dinner and let these AD carries farm up the storm and carry them to the victory. We'll see how that bot lane pans out. We're going to be obviously very interested to see what Limas and Lionel can do, running it back with the same bot duo that they did before. Going for a little bit of a trade here. Time bomb comes out, and then a shield completely cancels it.
And I like to mention that Limas picked up the cleanse for this matchup. Even though it's not that good for his specific matchup, the main engage on Mammoth is that Flash Lilia stun. So once that Flash Lilia stun is cleansed, Limas is unstoppable.
Could be. Look at Liv though, he's been a bit of a demon in this top lane so far, finding those trades as he skips and dashes across into the face of the Graves, who has to wait for the shotgun to reload, and Liv just stacking up these autos to make sure the Scissor Cut is putting in a ton of burst. Here comes Mayfar, no kitty, looking for the first gank of the game, double buff, and level 3 working Liv's way back towards this turret. He doesn't have a flash, but he has the ghost, but he's held onto it. He's going to burn on forwards! Graves connects, now can only get a double kill. He's picked up 1. And 2 junglers with 2 buffs run each other down. And ultimately, a deer is better than a horse.
I'd actually say that Liv got greedy with his Ghost by popping it so late. If he popped it earlier, he may have won that top lane 2v2 because Lilia did miss her first Q. But that set's only so far behind, giving 2 kills to the top end jungle. You don't want only behind because only is the main engage from Kanga, so you want only have a lot of early items. But from that start, not looking good from Kanga.
Yeah, it's given Mammoth a bit of a nice lead already so early on, right? Only 4 minutes into this game, already up by 700 gold, which is a content story for them. As you say, only going to be really feeling the burden of that one, having lost not only his double buffs, but his ability to speed clear the jungle. He's going to go for the bottom crab. Top was picked up here by Mammoth. And look at Reefy, we're looking to try and really hold this wave and delay backs.
Well, I guess he's looking for a gank on this Kog'Maw because that is a fat wave. You know, call the jungler. Call Mayfan, hey, gank the Kog'Maw. He used TP, but Mayfan just backed, so Refury isn't backing. This is putting Refury in quite a bad position because Kog'Maw has a cloth armor. Wow.
Yeah, Okay, he's come back to make sure that those trades aren't going to snowball out of control too easily. Has the tier as well. It's going to be stacking up that AP damage as the game goes by. We will need to go back to base to match the item advantage, as you say.
Yep, with Dragon spawning and Refury hasn't reset, most likely Kanga will have tempo to potentially run to this Dragon trade.
Oh, look at that. We've got the icons of the other teams. Kanga and Mammoth. A lot of you actually, 56% believe that Kanga should take this one out, so it's very close. It's very close.
Didn't know PS was playing a second game.
Yeah, but it's running it back. Why not? They've had dinner. They're energized and ready to go again.
So I've been told by production that both supports have Ghost Power. Wait, no, sorry. Refury and Rocco has Ghost Power. They really want that vision. Obviously, Mammoth's comp lacks frontline, so it's going to be really hard contesting for that vision for these objective fights. So Ghost Power, you know, leave some vision after the ward dies.
Yeah,
Pops them in a way. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously both these junglers are going to be very keen to find that vision to enable those ganks in the first place, right? Definitely have surprise value built into their kits. Lived with ultimate advantage is bullying Tron the Pom. I'm not sure how close he is, but only is on the way. Now, he is also only level 5, but it's a wave that's about to crash. About 1.5 of these minions. And Mayfarner is resetting bot side of the map, so there is no pressure, there is no protection, there is no TP to back him up in a 1v2. Here we go. Liv jumping in, cops one auto, cops a second. And it's literally just a drive-by, and they're out of there.
That is pretty poorly played from Kanga's top and jungle. Obviously, Only is pathing towards the Gwen. She has a winning matchup in the top lane, leaving bot lane free to scale. But these failed ganks is really hurting Only in terms of setting him behind.
He's invested a lot of top side pressure out to try and give Liv the advantage. 2 attempts so far, and both really haven't worked in its favor.
Yeah, and talking about these builds, Rocco opted into a tier. I actually don't see a lot of tiers on the Zillion. He's not that much of a mana spammer. But obviously the 2 ADCs scaling pretty comfortably into the mid game, but we don't have the TP online from Mammoth's top lane, and both junglers are hovering bot side for this potential Drake fight.
They are.
Yeah.
They certainly are. Mammoth have a deep control ward in towards the enemy Raptor camp, so they'll have a little bit of an insight as to where this Hecarim is. As it stands though, for Kanga's bot lane, they want to go for a reset. Now, are they going to look to try and flip the map? The Herald will be spawning just about now. Mammoth have already taken the initiative to say, well, the first Drake is asked for 3 then. 4 members are here. Graves still topside on his own. And a map flip is, well, it looks like it's going to go on through here.
Yep, it's actually quite safe from Chungy giving over this Drake because he reset, because Kog'Maw cannot compare to a Zed in the early game. He currently has a Seeker and a Tier, while the Zed has that lethality item. So it is quite hard for Kanga to win a 4v4 in the bot side, so they've opted into trading for Herald. And this Herald is most likely gonna go to the top tower because Limas has rotated to this tower.
Yep, try and try again. Top lane will eventually fall on down. They will catch out this Graves. Limas gives him a hello, how are ya? Hits him with a snipe, 1-2. And then picks up a huge wave with the right weapon set up to absolutely decimate things. So Only's back in the jungle. He's picked up the challenging smite, so he wants to make sure that when he does next pop in for that gank, this time it will succeed.
Yeah, so I'd like to mention that Jinx is actually alone in bot lane with that Gwen. If this Gwen doesn't do anything to stop this Jinx from free farming and free scaling, she's gonna go out of control because she's getting solo XP while this Lulu is snatching some XP off Limas. So if nothing happens to this Jinx, Kanga is in a bad position.
It's a really good point you make. And I suppose really now the opportunity cost is, will the XP that Voice can pick up be matched or done better by Kanga from getting these plates and getting these farms and potentially even a dive on towards Graves? We're going to find out shortly. Because the Herald has been summoned nice and early. All the plates are still available, but Mayfarn is here.
Yep, we do see the Jinx going back bot lane, and Zilean actually doesn't decide to hover this because obviously that tower was 5 plates, it wasn't gonna die. So Zilean just helping this Zed because they are playing topside. Zed is also in a very volatile spot, while Jinx is just alone in bot lane. She's free.
She's firing from Storm right now, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's gone from the wave. As soon as the wave is being pushed, she's back into the jungle, picking up the Gromp. Feels like old school vibes all over again.
Yep. Only not doing anything about this Jinx, where she is technically being a solo laner right now, is quite bad for the Gwen, because obviously we can see that Jinx went from level 6 to level 8. Jinx is now the same level as the top laner and mid laner. Jinx is gonna have that item spike very soon.
Yeah, those Kraken Slayers are going to come on through and pack a big, big punch. Most gold in the game so far, so that's always a nice talking point to justify the investment in not only the gold, but the experience too, to find that killer advantage that they will so desperately need. Drake, up in 2 minutes, as well as the Herald a world away. So back to laning phase we go. Chungy has picked up the blue buff, which makes his life ever so easy to continue to spit down harass from afar and stack up this tier. But, you know, just one wrong move, Refio gets the all in and it's all over.
Yep, so Lionel is just currently hovering top and mid lane because he doesn't want to steal any XP. But he's back in top. He's just showing his presence while Rocco is going for this mid gank. This Lulu actually isn't doing much, by the way. She's kind of just walking around. This Lulu seems like she's a bit lost.
A bit like a babysitter?
Yeah, a bit of a babysitter, but she's not doing that much to contribute to the map. Dragon is spawning in 1 minute. Rocco hovering mid actually turns into him being able to contest for vision right now, while Lulu just reset. She's coming to this Drake very late. So Mammoth currently have the vision priority compared to Kanga, and Kanga's going to have a hard time walking in.
Yeah, I'm thinking who's going to really look to try and lead that line so far. Well, forget about that thought for a second, because it's all about Liv right now. Going for the needlework. He's already popped the ghost. He wants that all in, and he will find it. He's taken down Trom the Pom in the 1v1, and that is huge.
Gwen is just broken. Don't let that champion open.
Simple as
No
that.
no one wins in a 1v1 against that champion, I swear to God.
We saw it on full display right there. The rundown with the ghost from his turret to yours. And
Yep.
that should make life a little bit easier now, looking to try and contest this vision around that Drake, which you highlighted before.
Yep, so Aphelios and Lulu is actually quite strong in the early to mid game. Aphelios does have a lot of CC and he has the Gale Force, but because of Chungy picking his Kog'Maw mid lane, he can't really contest the Zed when it comes to objectives. So they're just playing it safe. Hecarim is giving the drag prio again by hovering topside. They're going to look for a gank on Refury.
Here we go. Only looking for it right now. Going to hit the ultimate to try and give himself some time, space, and dodging capabilities, which does so ever so effectively. Won't be available for the team fight now.
Yeah, I'd like to say that Mayfan does have his flash available for this dragon fight, so that's going to be the key engage from Mammoth.
Looking at only right now, seeing when he finds that moment to go in. So far, he's going to use it to cancel out the Lulu ult. Or sorry, the Lily ult. The Lulu ult will come out into Chungy nice and early, so there's the wild growth. Turns around, hits the living artillery, looks to lock them in place, reveal them with vision, and bully them away from this second Drake. So Kanga have done their job. They've found an avenue into this river. Can they hold it for the meantime?
Yep, Gwen actually back. She's going to look for a TP back. And this Gwen has a really good flank spot where Mammoth gets sandwiched in this dragon fight.
Here we go. The Drake is getting lower and lower. It's already gone. 2 Drakes picked up here by Mammoth, but Kanga want to force the fight. Mammoth want to disengage. They will find that disengage unless Liv has something to say about it. He's coming in for the 1v2. So much pressure that Voice had to burn a flash and a heal just to respect it.
You know, that's actually quite a worth trade from Liv going in there, getting rid of the double summoners from Voice. Now with the Herald coming up soon, with Jinx rotating to mid, she doesn't have her sums for this fight. So this Hecarim with ulti coming up soon can jump onto the Jinx.
Keep our eyes firmly fixated though on this Gwen, and life doesn't get much easier here for the Graves right now. He's feeling the burden. of that first item spike. It's not going to be the Nash's 2. Has actually rushed the Rift Maker Mythic instead.
We actually saw a Rift Maker from Tien last game as well, so it is currently the best item on Gwen, I suppose, in Pet.
It's always interesting the differences between the solo queue builds in high elo versus those in competitive. Different takes, and in this case, maybe another take on towards this Herald. Mammoth once again going to start things off. Question is, will Kanga contest? Because Liv's not even here.
This is actually quite illegal from Mammoth. They actually want to contest both objectives when usually in a competitive game, you usually trade one for the other. I'm surprised Kanga actually didn't go for Rift Herald right after first Drake got taken and the fight was disengaged soon later.
Oh, here we go though. Only looking for the Ruthless Onslaught. He's not going to connect with it just yet. Looking just to give them a friendly reminder that get away from that mid turret because Lemus had already gone topside. He wants to pick up the soak. He wants the individual experience. But Mammoth said, you can have the Herald, we just want to push, which has now been stopped.
Yep, and the Rift Herald does go to Only. He's most likely going to use that to break mid lane. In my opinion, mid tower is the most important because it does dictate the priority that you have for these objectives in the side, Herald and Dragon.
First turret of the game, only picked up here at 16 minutes. Feels like a bit of a late one, all things considered, given that we have had Heralds, but only will pick up the second one. They can look to try and find a second turret.
So I'd like to say again that this Jinx actually opted into a Kraken build while Lima's opted into a Gale Force. Once again, I'd like the ADCs to build Kraken instead of Gale Force because you do have a Lulu. Lulu is one of the best peel supports in the game. I feel like you should just be tossing out that constant damage. But let's see how Limas will use this Gale Force in these team fights.
Yeah, it's been a pretty common stay that Jinx will just all in with the Kraken Slayer, whereas champs like you know, the Aphelios, even the case of Caitlyn and Jhin, opt for the Gale Force, even if they do have those enchanters. So I'm not sure if it's just a case of preference or you know, more tools, always nice, right? Life of an AD carry can be hard. You need to avoid all the one-shots at all costs.
I think ADC is probably the hardest role in the game because you have to avoid dying.
Yeah, well, it's true, right? It's like a complete minefield in life. Everybody's coming at you, but you've just got to make sure that you do the most damage in the game. It's, yeah, certainly easier said than done.
Yep, and we do have this Aphelios going for a Collector for his second item. Just making sure that he gets the kills after Chung pokes him down with those Ws and ultis.
Oh, look at Oni though, look at the speed he's got. He's going to do so much damage when he jumps on through, looking for Mayfarm. Double bombs go out, but they do not connect. The onslaught, the ult, and the baited chrono shift. Okay, so Rocco was not taking any chance of that one. He was terrified.
Oni has had some quite unsuccessful ganks so far in this game. I think he's failed maybe three, four ganks.
Yeah.
Quite sad.
But the pressure, look at the pressure though, Kitty. I mean, the fact is, they attempted a play, it fizzled out, Mammoth were bullied away. They can't step up to the turret because there's the living artillery of this Cogmore, another Herald, and another turret.
Yep, and this Gwen is just... she's so strong. 160 CS compared to the... well, it's not that much, but she does have her spike item in hand when the Graves with the execution is probably not going to do as much, but still going to help a little bit in the side lane.
Oh no,
And Limas is caught.
I think you can just experience
Gale
Caster
Force! The Gale Force came in handy!
Oh, the value in the item
This is why we
purchase.
build Gale Force, because he gets caught. It all makes sense now.
Yeah, it's a free flash, a mini dash, and a get out of jail free card. And it's this interesting dance we're finding ourselves, a bit of a limbo in this mid lane where the camera is firmly fixated. We've forgotten that side lanes exist. Everybody wants these mid-tier ones.
Just an ARAM.
That's my specialty.
Yep.
We just need Snowball Summoner. How broken would Snowball Summoner be, low-key, in the real game?
Well,
Can you
I was
imagine the
actually
engage
thinking... it would be broken, yes. But I was actually thinking... I saw a tweet, I think, that they were saying how ADCs can build Gale Force and it's basically a free flash. Why can't ADCs just build Ghost, you know?
True.
Just talking point there. But we
That could be
do
maybe
see...
season 13.
maybe. Seeing into the future.
Okay, so Mammoth get their first turret. What do we make?
So this Gwen is also going to trade the bot tower for the top tower. But we do see the scuttle going towards Mayfan with Baron coming up soon. Lilia does Baron quite quickly with the Kraken Jinx, but who else also does Baron quick is the Gwen and Aphelios. Ooh,
Speaking of Aphelios, oh no. Was that a death mark? Was that an ultimate? Because I didn't see it. His
that
health
was
bar
an
has
ulti,
moved.
that was an ulti.
It's moved a little bit, Kitty, but do you think Limus really noted it? Because he literally turned around and said, get out.
Was it a fly on me? Like, what happened?
Yeah, what is that? Swat that, get that Z out of my competitive game, put it back in solo queue.
Yeah, I believe that Lulu actually used exhaust in that trade, but it seems that she still has exhaust. Maybe I'm blind, maybe my glasses aren't working, but...
Well, imagine how much worse it would be with the exhaust on.
Yep, this fight is quite hard for Mammoth to walk in. Like I said, they don't have a front line to get that vision with Rocco. Lulu just holding hands with his jungler.
It's been his style of play this game, isn't it? I mean, a little bit critical early on, but it's seemingly working out right now because Rocco's caught out of place. He has a flash, he'll burn it early. He can't even ult Kitty. He blinked and he just fell on down.
Ooh.
Oh, but hang on a minute. Refury says, how dare you take out my support player like that? I'm going to go in for the one kill, look for a second, dash away with the Shadow Clone to make sure that the Cogmore passive doesn't hit me. At 21 minutes in, finally, Zed finds his revenge.
See, this is the problem with Mammoth's comp. They don't actually have the front line to walk in with Rocco, so it's very easy for him to get caught.
Ooh.
Now Limas is very low, so...
Oh, surely that was a flash angle there, Kitty. I mean, I feel like he lost vision, but surely you're flashing forward.
Nah,
or maybe
Lulu's
you don't.
gonna poly.
Maybe you don't. And in this case, you need to actually use those summoners to run away because Only's jumped in once again. He's received the wild growth. He's been put to sleep. Night-night. Sweet dreams. That's your bedtime story. And you're dead. Lift is coming with the TP and said,
With
hang
the
on a
blue
minute.
buff.
Are we losing this team fight? He's got the buffs, but he might concede them in just a second. But look how much movement speed. Well,
They might look for a Baron here.
they might indeed.
But
In the end,
Jinx was
dies.
actually before that Hecarim kill, but she took Presence of Mind with receiving a blue buff, so looking like a huge dub for Mammoth after that. But they regain Baron control with that pick onto Only, with Billion going in for those deep wards.
Let's watch it back again because obviously this has been really the highlight. Mid lane is where we're glued to.
Yep. The only CC is this Lilia ult, and Voice is quite literally But Liv getting baited with that TP, and Liv actually gets caught. So he doesn't actually have TP for this Baron fight anymore. So he will have to make the choice of either splitting or sticking with the team for this Baron threat coming from Mammoth.
Yeah, because I mean, look at the gold at the moment. It's still incredibly close. So, you know, stock check on what we're looking at so far. You mentioned Baron should be the next play. Do you feel like there's one team to have a huge advantage?
Looking at this Jinx, she is quite ahead compared to the Aphelios. She is probably around a few hundred gold away from her third item, which is going to be her spike in the game. They're gonna obviously set up for this dragon, which is gonna be soul point for Mammoth. With Liv going in for a little poke. But this Jinx is gonna absolutely pop off soon.
Certainly will. Look at the all in between these two. Shieldbow gets popped, but a needlework pops just a fraction harder. Mayfan now, once again, looking to try and play the catch-up and the clean-up crew. Chucks at the bowling ball, goes down the alley, and it's not a strike. It's actually a miss. And now he feels like he had the angle, he had the inside track, but he is getting collapsed upon by the entire team of Kanga. Where are you going, son? A chilling smile and a flash away, and he's out of harm's way.
I've noticed that Liv used TP in that mid lane fight, right? He died, but it shows that Liv's TP is still on in the sidebars, so that might be an issue we might need to look into.
Point. Here we go. Fourth dragon off the game. 2 for Mammoth, 1 for Kanga. It's a Cloud Soul up for grabs. That's back-to-back Drakes for the side of Kanga. So a gentleman's agreement that Mammoth were not interested whatsoever. They have pushed themselves across the map to hit these side lanes now. It feels like, much to your point before, Kitty, Baron is the ultimate prize.
Yep, so I think for these team fights from Mammoth, Refury will need to get a very sneaky pick onto one of these squishies for Mammoth to be in a winning position for this for the next fight. But if Refury fails to actually assassinate one of the carries, this will be a very hard 5v5.
For a second there, like Liv could have been in trouble, but then I forgot Gwen is immune, so that's always nice to remind yourself with. So happy days there. Now, Tron the Pom is continuing his assault towards the sieging of this bot lane. Liv is going to return here and say hello, but look at Refury, very sneaky, waiting and lurking in the nearby bush. They want that one shot. They really want to hit these side lanes.
How do you one shot a champion that goes immune? Come on.
You give him a hug.
Give him a hug?
True.
Okay, well, we do see Changyi coming in with the Manamune and Haunting, guys. He's going to do a lot of damage once he stacks up his ultis. With Limaz going for the Collector, it's going to be very easy for Limaz to collect those kills after Changyi pokes them down, especially into a full team of squishies.
Certainly is. You just need the time, don't you? You just need the time and the positioning to be in that point of power to hit them with the high ground.
Yeah, so Refury actually wasted a lot of time sitting bot, giving up all their top vision for this Baron. It's going to be really hard to walk in as Mammoth since you don't have a front line.
Must be so frustrating as well for Refury because he was desperate for Liv to step up, but just too much discipline, too much experience. He knew that something was a little bit too odd on the map.
With both TPs on for the top laners, but we need to consider that Gwen will always win against this Graves in the side lane. So Mammoth have to consider that for this Baron. So they are sending Graves to group instead of matching the Gwen. They might look for a Baron force/turn. Graves is just gonna be sent back to bot. Trying to defend that tower against the Gwen. We do see Only though playing towards this Gwen.
Yeah, my point, I was like, what would you like to see? Would you like to see these bruisers, engage in the bot lane like we see right now? Start the Drake, or start the Baron rather, and try and force out these TPs. Yeah, they're starting Baron. Well, here they go. And
Mammoth is starting Baron.
Yeah, Kanga are not going to try and force the fight again. They just can't gank him. Tron the Pom is immune to these jungle ganks. The man is phenomenal. The Baron has started, much to the point. Will it bait out the TPs, and will it disengage away when the TPs come on through? Well, so far, both have said no. It's a 4v4. Actually, it's going to be a 3v4, because Oni's not here. He's getting as close as he can. But Mayfawn is going to secure the Baron. He has the Chrono Shift for insurance. In comes Liv. TP is there. He gets put to sleep. Well, he's got the ticking time bomb in his head already, as you would. Oni's just going to get one shot here, and they're going to try and disengage away. But look at Lemus's positioning. He's separated from his Lulu. He needs his Childminder. Where's the protection? Changyi going to die as well. It's a double kill for Voice. The Jinx is getting excited. There's a triple kill. A kill found from Changyi from the afterlife.
But they can't kill Liv.
And it's a shutdown. Lived. Oh, no. Oh, no.
The bomb. That was so close.
It's an ace.
That was really good from Mammoth. Wow, Voice actually popped off in that teamfight. He actually killed the Aphelios the second he flashed over to that red buff. Really worth trade. But I don't know if you noticed, Limaz actually missed his ulti during that Baron fight. If he hit that ulti, it would have caused maybe 2-3 people to be very low or potentially even 2 kills.
Let's see it again.
So we see the TP coming out from both top laners. Chom the Pom was actually walking around, so he was very late to the fight. Obviously, Refury traded 1-for-1 with Jinx picking up the kill on Limaz. Jinx getting that reset. Absolutely. This exhaust was very late from Lionel, causing Voice to kill another 2. Liv trying his best, but it's just not enough because it's a one-man show out here. Yeah, so exhaust is actually not... it is good against the Zed, but once you start fighting the Jinx with rapid fire, it becomes really, really hard for the Lulu because you cannot reach her.
Yeah, very hard to get in range, right? Once she gets that first kill, it just snowballs out of control, by which point you're probably dead before you can even hit that spell. Tough ask here for Kanga. As we mentioned before, 2 Drakes apiece. But Mammoth have that Baron. That was the highlight just moments prior. Kanga will absolutely shred that Drake. It's gone before there's even a chance to consider it. So 3 Cloud Drakes have now been stacked up, and Mammoth want to achieve maximum value with this Baron push.
You're definitely, you can see that Only is getting a bit desperate with that bot play. I don't know why they sent Only bot when Gwen has the upper hand in that 1v1. Gwen never loses, or it's usually really close, but Gwen usually comes out on top. This actually ended up just snowballing into a Baron for Mammoth because the jungler was bot. It's really interesting to see what Only has in mind for these future fights.
And yes, this is a very strong Baron power play so far. They've got 4k from this. That's the gold lead that they have as well. Big value being achieved, but big wave clear found on the side of Kanga as well to prevent rather, anything more being found.
Yep, this Jinx is online with her 3 items, both ADCs, but this Jinx is absolutely insane in these teamfights, getting the resets on the on the jungler, because Only is kind of just running in and giving off that free reset, which is really nice for Voice, because Jinx plays off those resets. But from what we're gonna see, it's probably going to be another force from... Graves might have the upper hand with this Baron, but he did die, so he lost his Baron buff. I'm just gonna assume Mayfan has the flash. They're gonna look for a flash engage ulti with that Lilia, and Voice is just gonna pick up all the kills.
So, answer me this, Kitty. So obviously we're talking about the conditions of Mammoth, but on the side of Kanga, we're seeing that Hecarim is trying to really get the ball started here. Stopwatch check, we don't see it. There is a stasis obviously in favor for Liv, but if you're the Lulu, I'm sure you got all these players screaming at you saying, give me the wild growth. Who would you go for?
In my opinion, I would still ulti the Aphelios or the Kog'Maw or the Gwen. It would not go to the Hecarim, because Hecarim is probably the least valuable player on champion on Kanga right now. He's kind of just a CC bot. You cannot afford either the Kog'Maw or Aphelios or the Gwen dying in these teamfights, because you just lack way too much damage compared when you're up against this Jinx. So I would usually go for the ulti on either Aphelios or Kog'Maw, because she's going to be sticking by those two while the Gwen either goes for the backline or a flank.
Yeah, so really we need to see Lionel holding hands with Lemus, cross the road together, look both ways because it's dangerous out here in the Rift. You've got a lot of fed members, and make sure that your cleanse is up and available.
Yeah, and we see the Wardstone coming out from Rocco. That is actually quite a niche build. A lot of supports don't really like Wardstone because it is not efficient when you can just buy a second item, which Rocco is going to go for the Chemtech Putrefy. He's delayed his second item.
He's still got that tier as well. It is fully stacked, so whether or not that will ever hit the luxury of becoming an Archangels, we'll have to wait and see. But as you say, he's opted for a niche variation with this maximum vision control.
Yep, so Kanga's win con is actually Chungy poking the enemy down with his ultis and W, but that's been countered by the Jinx building a rapid fire, because Jinx has the range to respond to Kog'Maw's range. So this Jinx is kind of just unstoppable. Kog'Maw can't get to him, and Lulu can't get to him. Only Liv can stop this Jinx from being a menace, but they have insurance on that Zillion, so these teamfights need to be... You either need to pick off the Zillion, but you will die to the Jinx, so Kanga have to make the decision to either go for the support or the ADC in these teamfights.
A lot of decision making. Baron is just respawned now, and the soul point is up for grabs in 40 seconds. It's been very absent-minded, everybody focusing on the farm, achieving much power as they can with that one extra item, with that elixir, the extra boost of stats. And it might all come to a collision where the fireworks explode into life for that Baron. That could turn the tide here.
Yep, so we have all sums ready for this fight. We're
Liv
going
says
for the
he
support.
wants to go in. Oh, look at the overlap though. Chrono Shift stacked with the stasis effect as well. So Stopwatch is being burnt. Voice is actually in a lot of trouble here. Not as much as Chungy. He flashes. He's still into the rocket. He still dies. 2 kills. 3 kills found here by Mammoth. I thought there was an opportunity, Kitty. I really thought there was a way for them to punish this Jinx. But I have spoken too soon. It's 4 members dead.
It's the voice show. You know, you focus on the Zillion uses ult on him, but you forget about the threat of the Jinx, and that's what Chang'e oversaw, and he did die to the power rocket in the end, and this is gonna end in a win for Mammoth again.
Yep, flashing forward to try and win this game, and Oni's going to have to be forced back into the base to watch it crumble down before him. One's going to die to the fountain itself, but that's Mammoth picking up an all-important win. And now the records, it's 3-3. Look how happy they are though, Kitty. I mean, look, Refury's even got the lights off. He's sweating. The rest of the boys though,
if they can
as you could be.
win with that comp, what else can they win with? I'm absolutely shook. I'm shook.
I mean, comfort on one end, right? For the side of Kanga, they said, look, we want to try and run it back with some champions that we're going to be feeling we can enjoy ourselves on. And there were, like, you know, there were moments, right, where you could see what they were looking to achieve. There were definitely pluses or positives to take away from it, but it felt like we were building up to the conclusion of that game around that Baron, and it looked so, so good. But then he just turned around out of the stopwatch and said, here's a rocket, here's a snowball effect. The fight was already won.
Yeah, I think that game definitely went bad because Only failed a lot of ganks while he tried diving top lane, setting him very behind, and that leaves Kanga without a tanky frontline because he is behind in the items. So Kanga Only not having the best game we've seen.
Yeah, regardless though, Mammoth are going to be elated, aren't they, Mac? You may just have the biggest brain because once again, you've gone for them. We've all said we want to see the Kanga hype train finally come out of the station, but it may still just be parked a little bit longer.
Mate, surely it will be. But at the same time, this is what happens when an org picks up a pre-existing team that already has chemistry working, and then it gets thrown in with the big dogs. Of course, these big dogs have a lot of experience. They are very skilled at the game, but you know, when they are starting to learn how to play with one another, you know, a couple of role swaps coming here and there, then it leaves, you know, there's holes in the defense, there's holes in their play, and Mammoth just seemed to abuse it. It's like every time someone was caught out of position, MEC was so good at rotating, so good at chasing them down and punishing, then they'd have the numbers advantage and follow up by, even if their HP wasn't that great, they would just go in together. You'd have the low ones kiting around, just baiting in Kanga, letting them know, oh, there's a juicy kill over here, how about you go for that one? And then bam, it just gets thrown on its head. This is what I'm talking about right here. They saw the out of position Kanga players. They were going to initially go for that sandwich approach over towards what I believe was the Baron at the 28-minute mark. And then MEC just snatch it away, go, look, there's two over here. We've got a 2-on-4, even though we don't have too much health. And it turns into, what, a 5-for-3 trade, which is definitely favoring them because they were down by kills before that happened. You got to remember that. So many big plays and big brains on the caster's desk. I did hear Skimmy say a few things and then Kitty saying, actually, you know, well, they don't do that because they'll turn into a sheep. And that was really funny. So I was having a great time listening to the cast. You both killed it. Mammoth killed it. Everyone was absolutely killing it, including Voice. Look at him popping off at the end. He knew that they got that dub as soon as they got that cleanup. There was like 45 to 50 seconds on the kill timers, and they knew the game was over. Running it down mid, killing the Nexus, and that was bloody game, Skimmy.
It certainly was, and look, what the majority of these interviews we've had with Voice, he's always been singing the praises of his mid lane and saying that guy is carrying us. But today, what a performance he's put in. You know, you could see him so excited out of his seat, just jumping around. But the performance, you know, fitting for that. You know, most damage in the entire game. Jinx, given the tools to pop off and doing it.
Very well done indeed. Now, having a look at all of the items here, was there anything that sort of drew your attention there, Kitty, that was a bit off meta? I heard some people saying some things about the Kog'Maw build.
Well, I've seen Chang'e play this Kog'Maw build a billion times, so I'm not surprised by that, but something I am surprised by is Only's build. You do see that Kanga has a lot of damage on the carries. I don't know why Only decided to opt into the hybrid tanky / damage Hecarim build. So that might result, that might explain why he got popped in every single team fight.
Yeah, it was interesting. Only didn't have... This was the first time it hasn't looked like he was the one in charge. He was the one carrying the team. things didn't go right from the start. There was the point where he went and got that first kill, got the trade up top after first blood happened, but it was a 2-for-1, and that definitely helped Mammoth get off on the right foot. Now, Lived, unfortunately, eating his words from that initial interview. It was supposed to be a colossal gap, but I don't think there was really that much of a gap at top. The rest of the game just didn't go his way. There was a few very great moments from him on the Gwen. We are seeing more Gwen today. Both games so far had a Gwen in them. You did call it. You said she was OP. You said she's very strong. However, it didn't get 2 Ws in a row, Skimmy.
It didn't, no. And I think, to his credit, Lived actually played really well. Like, he got a solo kill, right? He did receive a lot of pressure from Only to try and make sure that Graves went further down. It's just that those ganks never worked. So then on the flip side, you'd say, whilst Trundlepom didn't win lane, right? He did such a good job, though, of nullifying the pressure that was coming towards him. He was focused, he was targeted, and the Gwen show became, a bit more of like a sad party.
Yeah, I was very, very worried going into that one. The champ select, the draft that they went with, I thought it was looking really squishy, but of course they did have the Lulu there. Lulu was actually on Kanga. Well, I don't know what I'm talking about, but someone that does know what they're talking about is actually Reef Fury. So I'm going to check in with him because I'm sure he's all smiles over on the side lanes. Reef Fury, give us your classic wave, son. Big smile. How are you feeling after that W?
Me and the boys feel pretty damn good, honestly. Especially Voice. He's just feeling cracked out of his mind. He's happy as all. Using the arcane to advantage.
Yeah, getting that Hex Tech Drake nice and early on as well. That was looking really good. Now, I was going to actually ask you, what did you say to Voice before that game? Because he popped off.
Oh, I just told him, the usual, just sit there, look good, look pretty, and then he just, all of a sudden, he's like, nah, I'm going in, and I'm making myself heard.
Yeah, beautiful. He did also have Rocco on the Zillion to help him up in case he did overextend. That is the fallback of that. Now, what's your hot Zed tip? Because you had a bit of a rough start to the game, but things got better as the game went on.
So the draft was pretty good. It was planned out pretty well, but the Kog'Maw pick, there was a little bit of discussion that he might just pick Kog'Maw, and I wasn't too sure what to pick into it. And I thought just pick Zed and just kill him. But as you can see in the game, I looked pretty scared because yesterday my ankles got broken. They got completely snapped, so I didn't want to reoccur that twice. So I was pretty scared. I should have definitely looked to kill Kog'Maw a lot more. But the Zed pick was just to clean up, to come in the back, just pressure on the side, flanking them between. They had 2 AD carries and a Lulu support, right? So the Zed's just there to look for picks, pressure them as much as we can.
Okay, I didn't want to bring up the ankles getting broken because I know that's probably a soft spot. You're still recovering. Now, before we wrap up the interview, we have been giving compliments to everyone, so please pick one of your teammates and give them the best compliment you can think of.
I just think my ADC is just the handsomest man in the world. I don't know what to tell you. I look at him and it just brings this biggest smile upon my face.
Mate, I haven't seen you frown yet. I just want to say that even on your losses, you're still somehow smiling. So big congrats on the dub. You're even 3 wins, 3 losses, and you're still climbing up the leaderboard. Big start to the season for Mammoth, and we'll see you next week.
See you next time.
Yeah, see you bloody next time, mate.
Hey, Mac, honestly, he's just made a highlight reel of every emote he needs for a Discord, for a Twitch stream, for whatever you need. Honestly, he just needs to get an editor, cut them all out, and it's free real estate.
He is a content machine. I want to see Reef Fury on Twitch. I want to see him on YouTube. I want to see his brand building. Man's having a good time in mid lane, even when his ankles are broken and he can't stand up. Now, before we jump into the break, I just want to say I love you all, Twitch chat. Make sure you hit the follow button. And then, of course, we do have a player of the game as well. And there's absolutely no surprises here. It was Voice. Man was killing it down in the bot lane, doing so much work. It was a bit of a slow start, but then afterwards he really got rolling. Couple of huge ults coming through from the Jinx. Super Mega Death Rockets all over the Rift, cleaning up, just chunking those health bars. And man had 71% kill participation to follow up to Skimmy.
He certainly did. I felt like a bit of a AD carry difference, really. The impact it was able to provide, the positioning differences, how he was grouped up with his team, and always glued to the Zillion. So even in that final play where it looked sketchy for a second, it was like, don't worry, we've got literally every bandage and hospital and speed dial to protect you. So he turned out and, well, you saw the aftermath, right?
Yeah.
Carnage, devastation. So Huge performance from him. Great to see.
Who is that in the silhouette? Because it's not Voice. It looks like a couple of different players. They're all jacked individuals. Hopefully we can get a picture of Voice in here soon because, man, he's handsome. He is handsome. Now, someone else that's handsome is the two teams coming up for game number 3. This is the one a few of you in chat have been waiting for. It's coming up not too far on the other side of this break. So, ladies and gents, do not go too far. We have Pentanet up against the Chiefs. It's going to be a scorcher.
Time bomb is it already, as you would. Only just going to get one shot here, and they're going to try and disengage away. But look at Lemus' positioning. He's separated from his Lulu. He needs his Childminder. Where's the protection? Chungy going to die as well. It's a double kill for Voice. The Jinx is getting excited. They're